All right. Hey guys, we are going to talk today about creating our first letter. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is open up Photoshop. Now, Photoshop is going to be looking a little different on the PCs, but we are either going to type in the search bar or look for this little PS symbol. So, you guys are going to open up Photoshop. When you open up Photoshop, okay, you are going to go to File, New. All right, and everything in class we are going to do on a letter piece of paper, just like you would do in a regular class with regular paper. We're going to work on letter paper. You're not going to mess with any of this stuff over here, but we are going to talk about the orientation. For graffiti, we would like for it to be landscape. So you have an option of portrait or landscape. Graffiti, we're going to do landscape. So you want letter, landscape, and you're going to hit create. All right. Now, once you hit create, you're going to see that there is this big white sheet of paper. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that you're going to see, because maybe this is your first time using Photoshop, and then how to make a letter. Over here is going to be the toolbar. So these are all the tools we're going to use. All right. Up here is going to be all the tool options for whatever tool that we're on across the top. And over here is going to be like your libraries and most importantly, your layers and your paths. And the paths are going to be very important because that's what we're going to start making our first letter on. So what I would like for you guys to do is on your computer, you will need to find where you put your letters. Remember those examples we asked you to get for your graffiti layout. So you're going to take your letters and it's pretty simple. You're going to drag them right into Photoshop. All right. Now when you drag them into Photoshop, you're going to see that it has this like kind of boxy blue X around it. You are then going to drag it up, all right, because we want it fairly large. You want to see what you're using to trace from. Okay, so we're going to drag it fairly large. Oops. And then to try to get on the letter. Now the first letter I'm going to do is a Y, so I'm going to really try to highlight the Y right here. All right, so there's my Y. Go ahead and hit the return button. And you will see now that the blue box has disappeared. Now, over here, if you remember from the Bezier game, this should look familiar. This is a pen tool. This is a Bezier tool. This is a tool you're going to be using. You need to do this tool just like you did your game with the fewest anchors and moves as possible. So I'm going to click on my pen tool. You will see that I get that little pen nib. And over here, you're going to see that you've got layers, channels, and paths. I would like for you guys to click on paths, okay, and you're going to click a new path. And you're going to call this path the Y path. Well, sorry, you will call it whatever you want to use. I'm going to make a Y, and then you'll hit return. Now, I'm going to attempt to come over here and make a Y. So I want as few anchors as possible. Remember, the clicking will create anchors. Holding will create a curve, and if you remember from the game, using the Alt and Shift and Command buttons, we can move our levers. So I want to try to recreate this Y in at least as moves as possible. So I'm going to click here because I'm going to start working right to left. I'm going to click here. All right, guys, sorry about that. Once again, Photoshop has updated something and I haven't had a chance to play around with it. So I'm going to show you again. So here is the pen tool. We are still going to do the same thing about going and creating a path that's called the letter Y. There is a new thing up here on the tool options. I'm going to need for you to change the path to a shape. Okay. The shape, I want you to fill it with nothing. So you're going to choose this option right here. Then you're going to go to stroke and you're going to do the stroke in black. Okay. Now, once you've gone shape, fill of nothing, stroke of black, then we're going to be ready to make our letter as best as possible. All right, so we're going to, again, as few anchors as possible. So I'm going to click here, click and bend, click here, click and bend. Now remember, I need to move the anchor. All right, so I need to move the anchor. So I'm going to go this direction. Now I can come back here and I can fix that bend a little bit by holding the Alt button. All right, I'm going to click here because I want that one to bend a little bit. I'm going to click here, and again, I can fix this up holding the Alt button. It's okay if you guys make mistakes. You can go ahead and hold and move the Alt button. All right, oops. I need to drag that back over here. See, it's all right if we make some mistakes. This is your first time. Click. I'm going to click and bend. I want to move the Alt button and move it up here. Click. Click and bend. Click and bend. Click and click. And go back to your other one. Click and bend. All right. So your first option to make a path is to try to do as few anchors as possible. Now, if you make a mistake, you can always hold the Command or the Alt button, and you can start grabbing these things and trying to fix them out. Okay, so don't worry about what you're trying to do. Go ahead and you can fix some of your shapes by using either the Option and Alt button or the Command button to go ahead and move your letters and your anchors as possible. But your first job is to go ahead and to try to make a letter using only the path tool.